Ooh, y'all. I'm gonna make me some squash. See how I'm cutting it on the angle? Just like the Asian man, but this is not the Asian man's recipe. I'm just showing you how I cut it to get ready. You can cut it like this as a circle, but you can cut it on an angle. I'm cutting mine on an angle. And I'm gonna cut up 3 little squashes, and then I'm gonna cut up zucchini the same way. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna shake a little Texas Prime on here. A little bit of this here Weber garlic seasoning and Badia. That's all I'm putting on here. And drizzle a little olive oil. Stick it in the oven till it gets baked, just to get a little tender. And then I'm gonna show you what the rest of the process that I have to do. Hold on. Okay. I guess y'all saw me again with my buckwheat. But anyway, I don't know why it's trying to put me on, but there you see the seasonings. You can hear it simmering a little bit at the top of the stove. But I'm just going to drop a lid on it. Put it in the oven for like 30 minutes. Take it out. I'm going to finish it up. By then, I have my cornbread ready and get my pork chop seasoned. This is squash, y'all. I'm showing you how I make my squash. And I might tell you a story where I learned this squash from. Well, I'm going to tell you a little tip or a little clue. It was my stepfather. You notice the way I said it was my stepfather. But I got a story behind that. Hold on. I'm going to make my cornmeal. 1 cup of cornmeal. And that wasn't even a cup, y'all. See here? I got to go back and get some more. That ain't even a cup, but I got to get a cup full. 1 cup of Jiffy. 1 box. I'm messing you guys up. This is Jiffy cornmeal mix. 2 eggs and a cup of milk and a cup of butter. Hold on. Okay, the first scoop of cornmeal was a half, so here's the other half. That makes a cup. I eyeball it. I ain't got time to measure it. Cornbread gonna be the same. I'm gonna put a cup of milk, a stick of butter, 2 eggs, and that's gonna be my cornbread, y'all, to go with my squash. Hold on. Did I tell y'all a cup of milk? Sorry. It's a half a cup of milk and a half a cup of butter, a cup of cornmeal, and 1 box of Jiffy, 2 eggs. I know because sometimes I'll be acting out because my baby, he was telling me his recipe, and I actually went with his recipe, about to throw it down until I realized the batter was too loose, and I said, did I put a cup of milk in that? And I messed up. And that's about a half a cup of butter. It is just regular butter. You can use, I can't believe it's butter or stick of butter, whichever one you choose. No big deals. Don't make no big issue out of it. It could be Crisco. So anyway, I'm going to whisk this up. Now you know how I throw my cornbread together to make that little itty bitty cornbread. But it might come out to be a bigger cornbread because I had to put another half a cup of cornmeal because I was listening to my grandbaby with a cup of milk. Sorry, but you're not confused now. It's 1 cup of cornmeal, 1 box of Jiffy, a half a cup of milk, and a half a cup of butter, and 2 eggs. Hold on. And it should look like this. Nice and thick. Thick cornmeal. If it's runny, well, no problem. You got to bake it longer to get it to dry up and to form itself into a solid form. But other than that, that's the cornbread. Everybody know how to do it. But I was surprised somebody in the house told me they didn't know how to make cornbread. Then my baby came out and told them, hey, that's how you make cornbread. I said, see that? If a 7-year-old can make cornbread, anybody can do it. I feel sorry for the guest because he didn't know the baby know how to make cornmeal. Make cornbread. Hold on. Now this is my green onions. I'm going to put half of that. And this is my onions chopped. I diced them pretty big. I put the cornmeal. Hold on. I put a teaspoon of cornmeal and rubbed it around the bowl. This is one of the bowls that come from Pampered Chef. I need to find out if it's going to do its trick and keep my cornbread crispy. It failed my biscuits the first time because I put a little grease around the pan. My biscuits did not brown on the bottom. And I'm going to try it now with my cornmeal. With my cornbread that I made, I put a little teaspoon of oil, like I said, on the bottom. I rubbed it in and I put it in there. Let's see how this baby bake with my cornbread. Hold on. Okay, I got that little 30 minutes. You know, it doesn't take long before vegetables start sweating and wilting. The thing is, I do not want to add salt to them because I have to put them on top of the stove now from the oven and start adding the other ingredients. I put my seasonings. I did not put any salt. I know they look soggy, but they're doing exactly what I want them to do. Now let me put my onions. Hold on. Okay, as you can see, I have my onions. I'm going to stir this up. The temperature on it is rising. The skillet is hot, baby, because I just pulled it from the oven. I'm just going to get my onions are cooking here. As you can see, I'm just tossing it around. You can see the zucchini. You can see the squash. I've already seasoned it. Now, to top this off, you can put a little paprika, you can put onion powder, garlic powder. You can use, instead of using olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, you can use bacon, fat, grease, fat back, whatever you want. But see, I don't want all of that in mine. And I'm just going to show you how I make this squash. Now, I'm going to crack about 6 eggs in here. Hold on. Okay, there go the 6 eggs. You break them down and you put the 6 eggs in there. And it's going to cook. Going to continue to cook. You see is when you put the eggs in it, the eggs get to cooking in it and it changes up the texture. It gets a little thick. That's what I want. I'm going to let it boil in and let the eggs get to cooking. You can put a little black pepper in here. That's right, a little paprika, onion powder, garlic powder. But I don't want to add anything more now until I get the taste by whatever I put in already, the Texas Prime, the Badia, and the Weber's Parmesan flavor for vegetables. So, let it cook. You got to give it a chance to cook and get thick. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to put a half of bouillon, chicken flavor. Half of this caldo. Put a little half of the bouillon in there. It's got to thicken up and the eggs got to cook. It's like, you know, if y'all want to make yourself a veggie omelet or a quiche, you can add cheese in it and a quiche with a pie. You can make a quiche. If you want to make an omelet, and other than having it for dinner, tomorrow you can just take it out and add a little bit of your vegetables into your omelet, and you have yourself a veggie omelet. If you want to make a wrap, an egg roll, you could take some of this and add it as an egg roll. You can make your veggie shepherd pie. You can get a pie crust and a pie dough that rolls out. Put it in a pie crust. And make you a vegetarian shepherd pie. You know, it's a lot of things you can do. If I want to make it back into a vegetarian hamburger, I can put some into a blender and puree it down real good. Add a little baking soda to it and some flour. And make myself a patty and slap it on the griller. Have myself a vegetarian patty. Now I'm going to add a little bit of salt now. Take a little bit of molten salt, about a teaspoonful. I don't want to go too far. A little teaspoon, we'll dab of that. Some paprika. I got to get it open. Hold on. Okay, now I'm back. You can see the paprika, the oregano. I dashed a little bit of Morton salt, my little Debbie, and accent. And that's it. I'm going to drizzle a little olive oil on it as the eggs tighten up in here. It won't be much liquid after a while when the eggs keep on cooking. You just got to let it keep on cooking. You just stir it. You don't want it to burn. And then I'm going to drizzle a little bit of more olive oil. Hold on. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Ooh wee. Let me go and taste it now. I'm going to taste the stock. Oh yeah. That's it, y'all. This is it. I can let this baby keep on simmering and simmering for another 10, 20 minutes. Let me get my pot on. I'm going to fry some pork chop with this. All right, make my pork chop. I got my cornbread already in the oven, cooking. And with that pepper, hold on. All right, I just added a little bit more green onion. I like the texture. I love it. I can turn this off now by the time my pork chops get ready. This is it, y'all. My daddy was a Cherokee. My mother was an African. Her ancestors was African. And my father's side, they were Cherokees. And then we had white people. Yes, we got white people in my family. And you don't want me to bring out the rest of the relatives because y'all going to say, oh, we getting down with the white people. There ain't nothing wrong with getting down with the white and the black. Sometimes I'd rather get down with somebody else or another culture than get down with my own. They be acting up, cutting up. Jealousy and rage. Foolishness. But I ain't got nothing to do wrong with my people, though. I love my people because if I don't get around my people, I can't cut up and act like a fool. Y'all know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna blow my mind. How you say? Up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me act a fool up in here, up in here. Now I can tell you about this squash. Hold on. Yeah, my stepfather, boy, he had an issue. Now, you know, sometimes we don't adjust to our stepfathers right away. It took me a while because I love my daddy. I couldn't stand that black fool when he came in the house. All he did was cause trouble. Every time I look around, he was lying and just sneaking. My mama had to stay on his case. Sometimes she called them Leatherfoot, them flipper. He walked past her and pick her off. She said, I wish you take your big flat foot or somewhere or your flippers and go somewhere and get out of my face. And he would come in the house. Now, he was a stepfather, all right. She found him behind a prank call or one of them teleworkers, telemarketing calls that came in and he called in and said something to her, and she said, who is this? And he said something again. She said, I don't know you. And it was around the time when Stevie Wonder made this song, I Found an Angel. And so she kept going. I was sitting right by. I said, Mom, why don't you just hang up? If it ain't got nothing to do with you, hang up. She said, I don't know. This fool keep calling me. What you want, nigga? She said that word. I said, oh, yes, she did say that. And she said, don't you call here no more. And he called again. He said, look, ma'am, I don't like you calling me out like this and cussing and carrying on because I know you recognize my voice that I'm a black man. But you ain't got to be cussing and carrying on, he said, because I dialed the wrong number. She said, well, I'm sorry. She said, what do you want? He said, what I want is what I hear. She said, what is that? He said, do I owe you a bill? I ain't got no money. He said, no, you don't owe anything. He said, you got bills? He said, that ain't none of your business. And then he kept on getting funny with her. She said, look at here, I got to go. He said, no, I don't want you to go. He said, I want to talk to you. She said, about what? And then he started talking little sweet notes on it, and she got kind of sinked down in the chair and started giggling. I knew it was going to be bad when she started giggling because I said, he going to be in this house. And I got to do something to break this up. I don't want her to be getting all happy with this stranger. And I said, Mama, you don't even know the man. I said, Mama, you don't even know the man. But once you hang up the phone, mind your business. I said, okay. She kept on talking to that man. And Mr. got in the house, Mr. Just like Color Prep. I call him Mr. And he got in the house. And he wound up taking her out a few times. And he kept dancing around. And next thing I know, we got new stuff in the house, new furniture and everything. She talking about this man. I said, Mama, who you get this money from? And she said, ain't none of your business. I'm going out. I said, Mama, you ain't going nowhere. And I hope it ain't with that man you been on the phone with. She said, mind your business. I said, you know what? I'm going downstairs with you. And if I see him pull up, I'm going to take his driver's license. I'm going to get a pencil and paper, and I'm going to write down his driver's license, his tag, and everything. And I told that man, I said, let me tell you something here, Earl. Now, I know my mama get on my case, but if you don't bring this woman back here to get my hair plaited and straightened up on the Easter Sunday and buy me a dress and a new pair of shoes and a pair of sneakers for $1, if you don't bring her back here, I'm coming for you. He said, don't you worry about it, little gal. Well, I'm going to bring her back all right. He was black as dark. I ain't know you can get blacker than darkness, but it was black as the stove I'm standing on. He was black. And I said, man, I don't like this man. And he come back and they talk and giggle. He go on way again. But however, he wound up being my stepdaddy. I still can't stand it. I pull up a rifle on him and I'll shoot him if I could. I couldn't stand him. But anyway, he had this little thing. He get his candy together and he put it in a beer and lock it up. He put food in the refrigerator and put his name on it and say, don't touch it. He would go in the kitchen and he would make country gravy, and I learned a little bit from it, and sometimes I ain't pay him no mind. And he would show me some things. And then he said to me one day, because I needed to pay for my school pictures and my yearbook, and I said, I needed some money. He said, I'll write you a check. I said, look at here. I don't trust you, and I dang ain't going to trust this check you give me. I heard too many people say they bounce. He said, take the $15 check. I said, oh, my God, this man ain't got no money. He going around giving out paper with his name on it, an IOU slip. He said, yes, and you'll be paying me back later on when you get a job. I said, man, you forget me. I don't want your check. It's going to be a fraud check. It ain't no good. But anyway, he gave me a check. I took it to the school. They took it. I got my picture, got my yearbook. But after telling you this, that the man, he was funny. You know, some of our own people, they get funny. He was putting his name on stuff, and I got to a point I was tired of him. He would buy groceries. He'd buy for the whole house. He'd throw down on the steaks, and he'd be putting some good food on. My mother loved him, but he had a problem with a nipple. He got the nip on something every now and then, and I ain't like that. Because when I got to find his bottle, what he was snipping on, I would sometimes pour water in it, and I pulled half of it out. I thought he'll stop snipping and nipping if I got rid of it. But boy, he went off one day. He said, you've been messing with my stuff. Because he would go fishing, bring back a whole bunch of fish. But what happened was, while he was making this particular dinner called the squash. This is the squash. I said, I don't really like you, dude. I don't like you. And they always say, it's best to let your child sometimes give you an opinion about your man, especially the boys that run them back out the house. Because sometimes they run up in there real fast and tear the house down and eat you out of a house home, then they run out. But not this one. He stayed running. He kept running back into the house. I couldn't say enough to make him go. I even tried to spook him. He would go to bed. I wake up and I put booby traps around. I hoped he'd just go ahead and leave. It didn't work. He said, look, I know about y'all kids. Y'all baby kids. He said, I know all about the tricks. He said, but you ain't going to come across me like that. He said, before I let you keep it up, I'll whip your butt. I said, man, let me tell you something. You ain't going to whip me. My daddy ain't whipping. My mama whooping. She said, I know I ain't planning on whipping. I'm going to get your mama to whip your behind. But I had to get even. He hired candy. He did this. I got tired of him while he was cooking that beautiful meal. I went in there and slipped in to eat his candy, and I closed it back. Yes, I learned how to pick a lock. Yes, I learned how to find everything he could hide. I got into it. I would deliberately mess with his stuff, just to mess with him. And then my mama come and say, did you go in there and mess with that man? I said, no, mama, I don't know what that man talk about. You know that man be drinking. You know he be slipping on that bottle. I think he's hallucinated. I don't know what he talking about. He said, did you go in there in that closet and stand there with that sheet on your head and moving around in his coat? I said, no, Mom, I don't know about that. She said, did you go in there and change the water in the tub and you put all that hot water that you put? I said, Mama, that man turned that water on. I told you that man he be drinking too much. But she said, I know that you doing something, but if I catch you. I went in the kitchen again. I stood up in the kitchen. My mama would just come in the house and I didn't hear her come in the door. And I was standing up there drinking his Pepsi with his name on it. It says Earl. I said, I'm going to stand up here and drink a little bit of that. I'm going to close that up. I'm going to go in there and touch his can. I'm going to do that and close that up and bite off it. Boy, I got busted. My mama said, every time I look around, you lying to me. She said, one thing I can't stand is a liar. Now, if you don't like him, fine, you told me that. But I like him. And he's my man and he's my husband. She said, but if you got a problem with him, you tell me what it is and you stop doing this foolishness and lying. She said, if you lie to me one more time. I said, Mom, I wasn't lying. I'm just trying to get rid of him. She said, you don't need to get rid of him because he's fixing this house up. He's doing good for you. She said, but if he did something to you as a little girl, then you tell me and I'll kill him. I said, Mama, no, you ain't go there and do that and kill him because I wouldn't let it happen because I can get you to kill him. But no, I ain't going to lie about that, Mama. So she said, well, if it ain't none of that and he ain't do nothing to you, then you better quit. And she said, I'm going to remind you to make sure you quit doing the foolishness you doing, and slap me dead in my mouth. And I said, I hate him. I hate him to the day he die. I want to get him. And she said, I know you don't like him. But sometimes we don't like our stepfathers. We don't like our stepmama. But let me tell you, they wind up being a real daddy. When your daddy step out the house, somebody else got to step up in the house and finish the work. Got to become the daddy. And they make it, kids can make it hard on them. We can eat them up, eat them out of a house and home, eat everything he bring in the house and pick it and throw it away like we got an attitude. But do you know he walked me down the aisle and it rained so hard that day. I know that man, I said, I hope my daddy make it up here from Selma and he can walk me down the aisle as I got older. The man gave me a lot of lessons too as a young girl. He told me, he said, you don't want no man that's married. And you don't want no man you can't find. And he started educating me. But I was mad and I was ready to walk down this aisle. I wanted to hear from my daddy giving me a speech about life and about where I'm going and when I get ready to have a child and what are my finances. He was talking to me like a real daddy. All this time I was mad and he twisted my head. He had my head, my plaits loosened up. My curls drooped and I started crying. We got downstairs and everybody was at the church. He stood on the stoop and he said, you gonna be all right, but I'm gonna tell you this much. That marriage may not last, but you're gonna outlast the marriage. He said, your daddy didn't show up, but he's a good man. He's a fine man. But I'm sorry to tell you, but I'm gonna have to walk you down this aisle. And he said, there going to be some things in life that you're going to see and you're going to know about. There's some things you ain't going to know about, but you don't worry about it. Because what you can't see, it could be beautiful or it can be a disaster. He said, well, what you don't know won't hurt you. So I got down there to the church with him. He put me in the car. We come outside. Like I said, it was pouring down rain, thunder and lightning. About 7 o'clock at night, it rained so hard. And he said, come on in. He said, you look beautiful. Your hair looks great. Curls flopping here and there. He said, I brought the rollers for you if you can put it back in the roller. By the time you get down to the church, you can drop the rollers out and then you can show up. When I come up out the basement of Corinthian Baptist Church, he helped me dry my face and wipe a tear from my eye. He said, I don't know what you're crying for. He said, you look beautiful and I love you. I said, oh, but you ain't my daddy. I can't stand you. He said, I know. He said, you tried everything, and I'm standing here today to give you away. I said, Jesus. And I got ready, and the orchestra started. This piano was playing, and it sounded beautiful. And I can't tell you, we come this far by faith, and you can't stop, and you can't turn around. You just got to keep on marching. And doing in this story to let you know, the man that played the piano and then turned it over and sang some Luther Vandross, the man was blind. He said, they chose me for your funeral. You don't need to know who I am. I'm blind, I can't see you. I can hear your voice and you sound beautiful and you pretty much cried all the way down the aisle as he gave you over. He turned you over to the Lord. And I'm going to lead you the rest of the way from here, but I'm blind. And I'm going to tell you something. I got married, and I remember that day. A stepfather would step in and step up. And he gonna finish out the rest of this race when the other daddy's gone. But no matter how much more he could do, I still love my daddy today. And I think about him. Babe Ruth, and I'll cry. And I'll think about Earl. Sometimes he reached from the graves, and he talked to me and straightened me up. And I'll be screaming myself, oh God, that man's still coming after me. Maybe he wants his candy. But that's the end of the story. Thank you for watching, like, and share.